Hey, Jared.
Hey, Josh.
Why did the architect break up with their partner?
Okay, architect.
Mm-hmm. That's an importer-exporter.
I just saw that episode again. Actually, it's so good. Just importing, not exporting? He's an importer-exporter.
Sorry. Why did the architect break up with their partner?
They couldn't rebuild the relationship.
Close.
Okay.
There was no foundation for the relationship.
All right. I was on the right track. Okay, that was good.
Oh, man.
Art Vandelay.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time Film, a podcast where we discuss a director's filmography. Currently doing Francis Ford Coppola, and we are going to cover his final film, Megalopolis. So, Jared, when does an empire die? Does it collapse in one terrible moment? No, but there comes a time when its people no longer believe in it.
Very true.
Yeah. My name is Josh, and this is my co-host, Jared.
Hey, I like podcasting as much as the next guy, but we're not here to discuss podcasting.
Nice.
Don't remember who says that, but
yeah, I don't remember either. But yeah. So as I mentioned, this is the final Coppola film. We've been covering him. Man, when did we start?
I don't know. I was just trying to think about that.
Months.
Yeah, I mean, it had to have been last year, but I don't remember when.
So to celebrate, we're gonna have a little
straight from the man himself.
Coppola wine.
Mm-hmm.
So
now you have tried this already, or you have not? Because I have not.
I think I've had this before.
Well, I wonder if that'll come through the mic.
I'll pour
the wine ASMR.
Yeah.
There you gotta do it right now. Yeah. There we go. This will be interesting. I don't really ever drink, and I haven't eaten since yesterday. So we'll see how this goes.
This is Coppola on the.
There you go. Now here, should we line this up?
Yeah, it's centered in the thing. I don't know.
This is one, if you're only listening, you should go on YouTube and watch.
You got a Coppola bottle, a cork that says Coppola, and some wine. So
and you can track how much we changed from drinking this wine. I don't know. What is the? I wonder.
What?
How strong is this? Is it just normal?
Pretty normal, probably.
Pretty normal.
I don't know.
I don't even know anything about wine. What's the type? Do you know the type of wine?
This is a red. This is a straight cab.
Okay.
Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a 2022.
Should we start now? When should we do our first?
Let's cheers to the.
Cheers to Coppola and podcasting and films.
All right.
You have to switch around. I don't know the proper.
No,
I know. I know. I gotta.
You're supposed to smell a little bit before, especially if it's first time.
Switch it around. Getting notes of notes of pretentiousness.
Notes of pretentiousness.
Getting notes of lots of narration.
Some overly long films.
Yeah, too long.
Bad pacing.
Yeah.
Like you said, some pretentiousness.
Yeah.
Some
artsy messes.
Yeah, or
what do we call that? Pretentious mess. That was my favorite thing you called Youth Without Youth.
Pretentious mess.
Should have been on the poster. Should we also? Well, this will come out way later, but it is also Josh's birthday.
Yes, we are recording this on my birthday. It'll be much past my birthday by the time you are listening.
That's okay.
To it. But yes,
put it in the comments.
Yeah, happy birthday.
DM Josh.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, shall we dig into Megalopolis?
I suppose.
All right. So this film came out in 2024, just last year.
Yeah.
Rated R, 2 hours and 18 minutes. The city of New Rome faces a duel between Caesar Catalina and a brilliant artist in the favor of utopia future, and the greedy mayor Franklin Circio. Between them is Julia Circio, with her loyalty divided between her father and her beloved. So this is obviously directed by Francis Ford Coppola, written by Francis Ford Coppola. We have our cinematographer that we've been on the last couple of films, Mahi Malamer Jr. And then also music by Oswald G. Is what I'm going to start going.
Oswaldo G.
Oswaldo G.
Yeah.
Production costs.
Oh, man.
What are we thinking?
I have no idea. Probably a lot because of the cast. I think this was when this film came out. I think it was also in the news, but I don't remember. I remember them talking about the budget because I don't know. I'm very curious of when we get to trivia also, because I've heard a lot of things about this film, just how long it took to make and all that. But
wait, this was over 10 years since the last one.
That's right. There's also,
I don't know.
it was.
I don't know if he was working on it that long, but
2011 or 2012 was Twixt. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say like 150 million.
This is a little over 120 million estimated. But that's a big jump over like the 5 and 7 million the last couple of years that he self-funded, and this evidently self-funded as well. I think, as far as I know,
from here
from wine, wine sales.
So indirectly, you contributed to this film.
Yeah. For good or bad.
For good or bad, yeah. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
All right. So we, like you mentioned, there are a lot of people in this film.
Oh yeah.
So we got Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, John Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Talia Shire, Jason Schwartzman, Catherine Hunter, Grace Vanderwall, Chloe Feynman, James Remar. Yeah, so he's DB.
Another Coppola classic.
Yeah, DB Sweeney.
Yep, him too.
Isabella Kussman, Bailey Coppola.
Oh.
Madeline Gardella, Balthazar Getty, Rami Mars, Haley Sims, and Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
People that I was kind of surprised to not have on here. I'm surprised he didn't like get, if this is really his last film, not to like have like a cameo for like Nick Cage or his daughter, and then John Waite's not on here. Tom Waits.
Tom Waits. No, he's not. Maybe he's in the background uncredited. I did not see
through everything because I was like, what? He's not?
Yeah, I know.
And there was nowhere notes of it, so which means probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he was getting, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how old he was. Because like the last one, he was just the voiceover. He wasn't actually in it either.
Well, Tom Waits has looked old forever. I really don't know how old he actually is, though.
Yeah. So. All right. So, overall thoughts.
Okay. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I will start with the good.
Okay.
An incredible cast.
Okay. Yes.
Even bringing back a lot of actors from his previous films. Kind of reminded me of like a greatest hits of people he's worked with before. But you're right, though. There was a few absent people that he's done a lot with before that were not in this.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I feel like if it was
you probably
me,
got as many as you could, I imagine.
right? But I feel like again, I don't know. If it was me, I was like, hey, this is my last film. Love for you to have a cameo in it. And
Yeah.
So like, you'd think like Sophia would, do something, and Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like people like that are like,
unless it's not
related
his
to it.
last, but it seems like it's his last film.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
I think so. But
Yep.
anyway, and it was cool besides like a greatest hits of cast he's worked with. A lot of people he hasn't worked with, which was cool.
People. Yeah.
So, and like younger actors too, which was nice. That's about it that I can say for the good.
Okay.
Like overall, I don't really know how to describe it as not like just a absolute fever dream of a film.
Okay.
Just the way, I don't know, a lot of the scenes unfolded, it just felt like a fever dream to me. And it was very confusing. And there was some really cool visuals, some bad visuals. I will also say overall, kind of like last pod. So like so many good actors, but weird performances again, I thought, with some of them. So yeah, just a very strange film, I thought. What about you?
So I kind of enjoyed it. And
Okay, cool.
when I say I loved it, but
I'm glad we disagreed somewhat because I thought we'd be the same. So this is interesting.
so I liked the overall idea of the story. I liked a lot of the concepts in it. I thought there were some scenes that were good. And like you said, and I thought there's some of the performances weren't bad. Not to say excellent, but like they were, but there were some that were kind of weird and like fell off. And then I think overall it was a little disjointed and too long. So like the broader like narrative that to kind of bring each of the scenes together kind of was disjointed. But then there were certain scenes that I was like, oh, this was a great moment in this film. And
I'll be interested to see like if you have some that
I kind of
okay, because I can't really think of any that I really liked that much. Not that everything was bad, but
yeah,
there wasn't much stand out for me. So it's interesting. Okay, so you kind of liked it.
Yeah, like moments. Like I said, I think overall I wouldn't watch it again just for because it's.
I do agree with you. It is
like
the concept is cool for sure.
The just the pacing and like the interconnected tissue to make it a cohesive story.
Yeah,
I think we're lacking, and that's where like it's not as enjoyable to watch as a film is because it missed that. But then some of the ideas and moments were interesting and either a cool scene or whatever like that. Like I felt like we're so that's how I feel about it. So let's talk about some more specifics then.
Yeah.
So first, the metaphor of calling this New Rome, so it's kind of leaning towards Roman Empire, but then, I'm assuming it's all metaphor for present day, the United States, probably.
Yes, for sure.
So how did you feel about that? What do you think of that?
I like that part of it. And I like the parallels with the Roman Empire in general. But yeah, it's clearly, I mean, even with the way the film starts and the end actually too, definitely is connecting with how the world is now, specifically America. It definitely seems to be that way. So I did like that, but also, and I like where your quote comes from. I like that whole line. I think I have a note about it, but overall though, it's like, why do we need narration again? I was going to mention, I'm like, wait, this is your favorite thing in Coppola movies. Bringing back the narration.
Well,
but it does help. It's Lawrence Fishburne. That helps.
That helps, yeah.
And there's some good things in there.
And
especially your quote.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, again, you could,
he could have just been in the film and said it though.
Yes, exactly.
That would have been better.
Yep. I think, but he likes his voiceover dialogue. So
He does.
Cool. I think I like that. Like you said, I kind of agree. I like that concept of the new room.
Yes.
So I think with the first kind of scenes that stood out to me from like story character, I liked the Nobel Prize speech and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's accepting that. I really liked how it was a good character development for Caesar. Just to you kind of see his underlying turmoil and ambition and hope that he's trying to achieve, and less about like the things he's done already, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So did like that scene.
Yeah, I did too. I wanted to ask you though, with like, so that for instance, or just Caesar in general, like it's somewhat with the plot. I was confused though, because like I understood the broad aspect of Caesar obviously wanting to build this utopia where he has this idea, and we already mentioned the Rome and America parallels, but besides that, it's like I don't know. Well, I mean, we can wait until we get to like the end of the film, but like even just at the end, it was just like I don't really know what was the climax of the movie. I guess to me it didn't really have one, but also was just confused like what was the purpose besides him. And we'll get to there's some weird things happen later too with it that's just like, what's the purpose of this? And I just didn't understand, but maybe you will. So
I mean, I don't disagree that there's stuff that's kind of like, okay, this is a weird way to go about this, or
yeah.
And that's where I think again having a disconnected through line makes it more confusing, and kind of also harder to make it obvious what characters' motivations are, which I think is a little bit of
Yes, I do. Yeah, that was part of the confusion through the whole movie for me, was motives of characters, but also just certain scenes too where I'm just like, why is this person here and why are they saying this? I mean, there's some very specific examples of this that we'll get to, but it's just, yeah, it was just, I don't know, just didn't know the purpose of it.
So I mean, like trying to break down, let me talk through. So he gets the Nobel Prize because of inventing the Megalon, right?
I don't remember what it's called. It's
Megalon.
It's essentially it's like it's like the Chekhov's gun of the movie, right?
Kind of. I mean, it's like a vibranium or something. It's a product.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah,
it's like a product that like,
or an Avatar, the unobtainium, which is just insane that that's what they call it.
He invented this new mineral, whatever you want to call it, like and then he's building things out of it. Is what he's So, and then of course, there's like a lot of stuff around like, power dynamics, and you get the mayor who wants to control everything, and then it doesn't like what he's trying to do to make the utopia that he wants to build. And then you kind of have his uncle that has a bunch of money, which lets him fund his things. And then of course that whole mess of like stuff, which is like kind of relevant, but not relevant. I mean, like the cousins or brothers, I can't remember if they're brothers or cousins, but the other relatives all kind of, are envious of him because he's got he's intelligent and genius, and they're not that smart, and they screw up, and here he's kind of like doing his thing.
Yeah. So you didn't, well, I guess you mentioned at times you felt this, but overall though, you didn't feel like the dialogue just being strange in the performances? Because I felt that through line through the whole thing, with every character at times. Now, some people were better than others. Like, I mean, Adam Driver especially is such a great actor in general, but like, I think it has partially to do with like what we talked about on the last pod is the directing. I mean, it falls back to him.
Yeah.
If all the actors, we know there's so many people in this film that are great actors.
Yep.
But then if they're doing these weird performances, it's like that falls on then the director in the direction that he's leading them.
Yeah, he's steering them that way. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I just felt that in this one as well. And I mean, I guess it's intentional. He obviously it was for the last film too, and he wanted that same thing for this film too. I'm not sure why though. So who was it then that? So you said you felt it sometimes with certain characters, but other characters you didn't.
Yeah, like I mean, I felt like most of the time Adam Driver stuff was good.
Yes.
Same with yeah, what's her name? Natalie.
Yeah, she's one of our main.
Yeah, I mean, like I thought most of the time her stuff was good. But then yeah, some of like Giancarlo Esposito's lines
And Shia LaBeouf.
and Shia LaBeouf stuff was weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Voight's the weirdest, but we'll get to that scene.
Yeah.
At the very end.
His stuff is weird, but it's also like almost kind of fits his character, I think.
Oh yeah, that was
Because he's just kind of supposed to be kind of a weird person. So I think if we were kind of breaking down, it's almost like the villains, lack of better word for them, were the ones that kind of really came off weird.
That's true. Right, because then like Aubrey Plaza is more in the middle. And yeah, that's a good way to think about it then, because I've always loved her, but she's good at times in this and
I would say they didn't have in general, they didn't have like depth to them.
Yep.
And then motivation was pretty flat. Like the mayor is just basically like, he just doesn't like him. You know, and you're like, okay, just at some point that's not
really explained further though.
And it's not really strong enough for it to have so much weight that it gives it by the end. Right. And then her, she just likes him, I guess, and wants him, but then she goes all
that's unclear at times though. It's like
I mean, it's almost
sometimes
like
yes, but
it's like her Aubrey Plaza's motivation, or Wow Platinum as her name.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that's her name. Yeah.
Wow, Miss Wow.
Miss Wow. Is it Wow Platinum though?
Yes, that's her. Until she gets married, yeah. And then her last name changes to whatever they're like, Krause or what? No, that's his first name. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she marries his uncle just to get control of the bank, so then she can hope he has to marry her to get the money, and then he still doesn't, and then she's all mad. Like so that's like her motivation. She's just crazy, but like
it is
kind of cartoonish.
Yeah.
But
there's some cartoonish moments in this for sure.
Like the villains are kind of are. Like they're very one dimensional kind of.
Yeah.
But and then like again his cousin or whoever he is, like Shia LaBeouf's character is just like trying to every time like be like, oh, I'm just as smart as you and I have a personality or whatever. Like so
I wanted to highlight one thing I thought looked really great, and we can get into it further when we get to cinematography, but I love the way when we see the statues come to life and start shifting around. Looks so cool. That was one of the highlights visually in the movie, I thought. And I don't know, I remember seeing recently broke down that scene. So there was it wasn't all completely CG. Like it was somewhat real. So maybe that's why it looked better to me. But yeah, really liked that. That was cool.
Yeah, no, you're right. Those were really cool, like kind of art direction, kind of the way they were just kind of falling over at it, and like it was cool. So another moment scene that I liked.
Okay.
This is out of order actually now because I was typing them, but
Okay.
but when Julia and Caesar realize that they can stop time together, because he kind of loses his power for a while, and then they have that moment in the garden where they realize.
Because the very beginning is where we see it immediately.
Yeah, he does
him do it.
Yep.
But then, yeah, you're right. So
then he's doing it for a while, and then he loses it, and then he gets it back when they figure out they can do it together. And I thought that moment.
But you're talking about this, the scene, where they do it
in the garden
together,
for the first time. That was cool. Honestly, liked the whole set piece of the wedding reception.
Okay.
The just extravagance of that, and it was like a Roman Colosseum like thing, and it was cool. I also was like reminded of like the Colosseum we saw in Dune Part 2 as well.
Oh, yeah.
And like it was just interesting because I'm like, these films came out in the same year, and though we didn't watch it till now, but
I think, I mean, from what I know, and maybe we'll get it in trivia, I think this was filmed pretty long ago. Like it didn't get released till way later. So I don't know when it was filmed. And I think it was a long filming process in general, but I know it probably the Coppola thing where he probably filmed a lot and took forever editing, so maybe to cut it down, I don't know. Maybe there will be a 5-hour version of this movie. But yeah, so it took a while, I know, from when it actually got released. So I don't know when it started filming. Probably before Dune Part 2 even started filming.
Yeah, good chance. Yeah. I just meant like it was just interesting to have two scenes like that. And of course, I didn't watch Gladiator 2, but I imagine they had that stuff in Gladiator 2, which also came out last year.
Mm-hmm. But do any of them look as good as Dune Part 2? Probably not.
Well, I mean, I didn't see Gladiator 2, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
But anyway, that stuff, just the over the topness of all of that, like it
was a lot,
but like really good to show like the separation of the class, which is a lot of things you're dealing with. This like everyone's like very poor, other than these like main people that we're spending a lot of time with, who have like so much money.
Yeah, and that's another big parallel to Rome also.
Yep.
The different classes, and so the big gap between them. I wanted to mention, you might have a note about this, but because I don't remember where it was in the movie, but the scene where there's kind of a fourth wall break, very weird, where we get a perspective of a movie theater and looking at Caesar on the screen, and someone with a mic interviewing him. What was this?
Okay.
And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, is it a fourth wall break? I guess it is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
This is very strange.
Yeah, and all I could think about is what we read about trivia about the last film, where he was trying to live edit every show.
Oh yeah, this is another experimental thing.
So I think
that makes sense.
I think it's just like him experimenting and playing with the whole who's the audience, who's not, like who, like that's the only thing I can think of. Like I definitely,
because Caesar's also, he's looking directly on right at the screen.
Yep.
To us. Well, then the interviewer. Yeah. Yeah, it was very strange. That's what I mean. Like scenes like that. There's some later as well that just feel like a fever dream to me. That's why I was saying, like, overall, that was the best way I could describe it. There's just certain moments that are so out there and outlandish to me.
The other one thing I thought was interesting, again, the speech that he gives when after satellite crashes, and just seeing his passion for rebuilding the city to something to become Megalopolis.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was another good moment for Caesar's
Yes.
speech.
Yeah, those are the moments in like the ones you mentioned before are where Adam Driver is like the reason why you pick him to do this role, because he's so great. I mean, like, one of the best performances of his is in Marriage Story, but like he's done all kinds of things. Like, so he has very good range, so he can do this. And yeah, so you still see moments of that in this, for sure. Like that scene you just mentioned, where even despite the weird direction possibly Coppola's telling the actors to specifically do, like, he still really shines Adam Driver specifically, like in scenes like that in this. Yeah. Honestly, even in the very beginning where he first stops time like that.
Yes.
That was very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That more in
Cinematography. Okay.
stuff, because it's cool. But
speaking of like the Utopia Megalopolis in general, I just want to, like, anytime we see it or a glimpse of it or we're in it in any way, it always reminds me of like the memes that you see of the interpretation of the future. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, where it's like, we're gonna have this is what we're gonna look like, and
if we or it's like this is what it would be like if we didn't have this problem, or could all get along.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of those at times, which is weird because it's like that's how I guess Coppola pictured it, or whoever's the lead designer of this film. But it just made me laugh because at times it just made me think of that. I'm like, that's really what they came up with. So it's also because we've seen those memes from way back before even AI stuff, but like just looked very AI to me, like not in a good way either. A lot of the design of it, which is strange, and that's why I think it's so weird. There's so many differences, because seeing like the statues come to life though looks so good, but then you see some of this stuff, that's what I was saying, some of the visuals then are also bad to me, because some of that stuff in Megalopolis just looks very meme worthy in AI. Not great.
Yep. I don't disagree. There's definitely
okay.
I thought the scene where the assassination attempt happens, that was really done really well. With the tension with the kid, and I was like, you knew it was gonna happen. But at the same time, like, still, it had me like, tense up, and like, I thought that was really good.
That was one. Yeah, I remember that scene. That was a highlight for sure. Right after that, though, what was up with the glowing gold around his eye and all that? What was up with that?
That's the
I know that's the
Megalon,
the material. I know, but like, why?
Which is like it took a while for it to grow back and heal. Like, it's not like it's instant.
Okay. I was confused. Like, why does it look like that on his face?
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, the way they to me, it looked like it was like they were a type of what's the term for like genetic tech? Like it.
Oh, okay. I could see that
nanotechnology, like kind of like that's kind of felt like where they were just, and there was like nanobots or whatever, kind of slowly crafting and rebuilding everything that he was damaged by the gunshot to his face.
Okay, that makes more sense then. Yeah, I guess like how you see them making the robots in like Westworld, that type of thing.
Correct.
Where it's okay. Yeah. Okay. It was just strange, the gold design to it. Like, I was just but that makes more sense than if you look at it that way.
So then the scene that was like hilarious was when but I did like it, like it seemed out of place, like I said, like things not connected, but when Crassus gets revenge and kills Wow Platinum.
Okay.
Do you remember this? You know, he's like,
This one he's in the bed?
yeah. And
Okay, this is the scene I was going to mention. Yeah.
They come in and he's like, oh yeah, well, look at the boner I have. And
that's by far the wildest thing in this movie.
And then but then of course it's just a bow and arrow under there. And then he like shoots her.
Yeah, that whole scene was.
And then he shoots his nephew, I guess, or whatever he is, his son, nephew, whatever he is, and hits him a couple times, but doesn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a weird scene.
That is the weirdest, I think, of this.
Yeah. Well, and also the one
movie.
like when she's getting again the nephew or whatever to I want you anti-wow.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird too.
So yeah, some of those dialogue moments, that's what I'm talking about. I'm just, I don't know, just strange decisions in this film that, like, I think.
Well, it's
I don't know.
Like I said, it's
could be done better.
Well, I guess it depends on what your goal is.
Right.
I mean, like I think, is it in these scenes, because we're talking about their kind of cartoon characters, is it the goal for all these kind of bad guys to kind of be almost comical in a way? Mm-hmm. Now, does that work? And that's the thing where you're choosing to kind of balance this tone where you want it to be a little silly, but not, I mean, the whole movie's not like just to be silly. So then you're trying to, and sometimes, whether the balance of that tone works for you or not as the viewer. And, obviously the director thought it was working because he made these choices, but I would argue that it's not. Right. No. So then all these things feel off and out of place because they don't feel like they're a part of the.
Right. But you're right. I mean, I guess it made sense in his head, or else he wouldn't have. Right. Coppola wouldn't have directed it this way. I mean, I imagine a lot also has to do with the editing, and maybe he had, we don't know how many hours he shot of this film.
Maybe we'll find out here shortly.
Maybe he'll do a director's cut that would make more sense later on. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
know. My final thing, I don't know if you have anything else. I just have one final thing about the ending.
That's my other notice, yeah.
So, I don't know. This is a weird way to end the film with this like altered version of the Pledge of Allegiance. I thought was strange. Pledge allegiance to our human family and to all the species that we protect, one earth indivisible, with long life, education, and justice for all. I don't know. I mean, this is what I mean where I'm like, the ending, just ending with that, like, what does that really mean in context with everything that happened in this film? Or is that just, this is what the new pledge of our world is? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it's, the way I took it,
okay,
it was like, it's, interpreting the United States Pledge of Allegiance, but moving it to like a broader encompassing thing because they've created this utopia that's for the whole world and everyone can be part of it. And so then they've modified it for that because then because then they end up stopping time and they have the baby and just kind of like setting the tone for this ambition, this future, better future that they're going to have. It's just kind of the ending.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, also write in or leave a comment or something if you understand this film more or like have a good interpretation of the ending, because I would be curious what other people thought of this.
Right. Yes. Let us know.
Yes.
Feedback at screentimepod.com.
There you
go. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think the ending was bad. I mean, I think it's...
No, not bad, but just... like I mentioned before, it just didn't really feel like a ending and climax of the film to me.
Yeah.
Just felt like it ended.
All right, so get into the cinematography a little bit.
Yeah.
So I first had notes. So noticed some differences in kind of the lighting.
Okay.
So basically they did this like kind of high contrast lighting that they used when they were depicting like the rich people and kind of making that. Then there was like much more like naturalistic lighting when they were the people on the ground and
Oh, that's cool.
the city. But then there's also that surreal, again, using kind of a bloom effect a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, when Caesar and or Julia or both of them together, it was like kind of in the stopping time, like kind of in the.
But it didn't look bad like the last film.
Correct. It looked a lot better
That's
in this
the difference.
one. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I just thought it was interesting. They were kind of made those decisions to each of the.
That is cool. I didn't notice that the difference in lighting with the different classes of people. I don't really have any notes for this. So just in general, like I already mentioned, there's some really good visuals and some weird visuals too. I wanted to ask you because there's like some scenes were just like really weird green screen too. Like when they're going up that elevator, that's really bad.
Yeah, outside elevator. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, so it's like stuff like that, but then it's like you got these really good artistic stuff with the statues. I don't know, just very mixed.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I literally wrote a note about that.
Okay.
I said it's epic visuals, some mix of good CG and other times not so good.
Because even the elevator one really stood out to me because it was very clearly green screen, but then like the way I guess they, I don't know, composited or whatever, it looked very flat, but it was supposed to be like the background was supposed to be the skyscraper or the city. But it literally looked like just a flat background. It's weird, strange decision. Yeah,
no, I definitely noticed that, and now I was like, okay, that looks really fake, badly fake. And, but yeah. Then also the opening, where he's on top of the building.
Yep.
And steps off and stops time, and then kind of pulls himself back, and I thought that was really, really cool and well done.
Yes, it was.
Kind of great way to intro without a voiceover explaining exactly what he's doing. Showing then also when they were high up there and they were kind of on like a clock thing and and they're like talking. I love like he just keeps stepping over around it and she's like keeps talking to him, and I thought that was cool in the city below and stuff, and just seeing that looked really good.
Yeah. That's all I have. I don't
Oh, okay.
I don't have anything else specific for cinematography.
Then also then later when at this moment he didn't have his powers, she finds them up there and it's like a bunch of like eye beams just like floating kind of up in the sky, and she's like walking on them going, because I remember thinking, I was like, well, he doesn't have his powers, you can't, if you fall like normally like most of the time.
I don't remember this scene.
Most of the time in the film when they're wandering on these like treacherous areas, but it's like he can just save them or / they can save themselves, and later when she can do it too. But this moment, like she hadn't figured out she could do it and he had lost his powers, and I was like, oh no, this is dangerous, and you guys are just wondering.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool, and like to me, like it kind of resonated that way, because it was like, okay, she's risking it, because he's up there troubled, and she goes to talk him down basically from the ledge.
Yeah.
Realistically or literally, but also metaphorically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was cool. Visually looked really like it looked. Those things all those like up there in the sky, kind of feel like looked good. And but like you said, like the elevator, not so good.
Yeah, this is very
Hit or
depending
miss.
on the scene. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's not like they didn't have enough time to do it. Like I said, they spent so much time while like filming in general, as far as I know, but even afterwards,
yeah.
you know, not releasing it till 2024.
Yeah. That was yeah, it's pretty much the notes I had on that. I mean,
Okay. I don't really have anything for
me?
score.
No.
I just it was disappointing though, because I didn't really like the score in this one, but I have liked this guy in
Some of the other ones, yeah.
yeah, most of the other three, or aspects of the other three. But this one, with the score, at least to me, felt very strange and all over the place, just kind of like the film, which maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he was wanting to support the film in that way by doing
that's what
that.
they asked for.
Yeah, I just didn't really like it, but
All right, themes and messages.
I don't have anything.
Don't have anything. Okay.
The only thing I was going to put for here is just like, I think one of the messages of this is that maybe don't go out as a director on this film, because this is very low compared to some of the highest points of his career, Coppola, in my opinion.
Right, but oh yeah, I mean, disagree, but also,
But as far as the actual plot of the movie, I don't have anything.
but like, how do you know when to go? Like, it's like you never know.
No, and like we talked about, these final four are very different, and this is what he wanted to do. These very weird, artistic, slightly pretentious.
But just being able to do whatever you want to do, because you don't have studios telling you what to.
Yeah.
Well, I put, society doesn't always understand genius or art.
Yes, very
I
true.
feel like that's kind of the theme, which is not that new, maybe the genius part, but like the artist, understanding the art and the artist, like, is a common theme through some of his other films as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's done that with a lot of his films, or play with that type of theme in the plots. Yeah.
yeah. All right, should we look up some trivia? See where we're at with the.
Yeah, I'm curious what all is. I really mostly just want to know about the filming process and the editing, and how much did they film.
Right. Okay, so Coppola wrote the script in the early 1980s. The film was kept on the back burner partially due to his financial debts. Pre-production finally began in 2001 after filming 30 hours of second unit footage and holding table reads with Paul Newman, Uma Thurman, Robert De Niro, James Gandolfini, Nicolas Cage, Leonardo DiCaprio, Russell Crowe, Eddie Fallow, and Kevin Spacey. But the project was scrapped after the September 11th attacks because a scene from the script, page 166, predicted the attacks. Coppola fully abandoned the project in 2007 and didn't begin developing it again until 2019. There you go.
Okay, so the idea has been since the 80s.
Yes, and then they started working on it in 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That that cast you mentioned also is insane.
Yes. Paul Newman, Uma Thurman, Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Russell Crowe, Nick Cage, Kevin Spacey, Eddie Falco.
Edie Falco, yeah.
Edie Falco, yeah.
James Gandolfini, even still around then. I mean, that was when Sopranos was very big.
So Coppola financed the entire $120 million out of his own pocket.
Mm-hmm. From the wine that we're drinking.
He had done the same for Apocalypse Now and One from the Heart, and the failure of the Love the Latter made him declare bankruptcy. All the subsequent films to the Rainmaker were made to pay off his debts.
I remember when we talked about
Yeah.
after his like great run in the 70s, the start of the 80s was when he had to like basically do something to financially recover
Yeah.
from where he was at.
Lawrence Fishburne said Coppola was discussing this film during production on Apocalypse Now.
Wow. Well, that would be late 70s.
And then he said Rob Lowe also recalled discussing it with him on The Outsiders, which is 83.
Nice. That's cool.
Coppola reportedly fired most of the visual effects team in December of 2022. According to Hollywood Reporter, he wanted to use virtual technology similar to that used in The Mandalorian, but the production shifted to more green screen because of mounting costs. Production designer Beth Mickle and supervisor art director David Scott then reportedly left the production, leaving the film without an art department. Spokesperson for the Art Directors of Guild told THR that they're currently looking into the situation to determine the next steps.
Okay. Well, that explains why there are good visuals and bad visuals, I guess. So fired the whole visual team.
That's what they said.
In 2022. Man.
Eleanor Coppola passed away in April of 2024, so she didn't get to see the final film he dedicated to her.
Oh, man.
Before Adam Driver was cast, Coppola was looking at Christian Bale for the lead role.
Mm. I can see that. That's very similar.
In the beginning of 2022, Zendaya, Cate Blanchett, Michelle Pfeiffer, James Caan, Jessica Lange were all announced as starring in the lead roles. They all dropped out eventually and later replaced by Natalie. I think it's Natalie, right? It's spelled weird.
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel, Aubrey
Yeah.
Plaza, Grace Vanderwall, James Remar, and Catherine Hunter.
See, that's
Just
one.
crazy.
James Caan was the one that I thought would be back, but especially what is Diane Lane? Is it Diane Lane? Yeah,
Diane Lane was in stuff, but she's not listening to any of these.
which is weird because she was.
Yeah,
I think
a bunch of like 5,
in
6
most
movies.
of, besides Tom Waits, I think that was like
Yeah, somebody worked
the
with a
person
lot.
he used the most.
Mhm.
So I was surprised she wasn't in
see
this.
like the tape will read that was in the early 2000s, and then even in 2022, a
Right.
different set of people. Yeah,
Hmm. Because we didn't even. I was trying to think, people from the Godfather films. Not really any of them in this film.
yeah. It has Talia Shire, who is
Oh, that's right.
Coppola's sister,
Okay.
and Jason Schwartzman, who's Shire's son, who's in it.
Mm. Yeah, but you're right though. No Nicolas Cage, which is strange.
But then Nicolas Cage's nephew is the other Coppola guy that was in it.
Okay. Huh, that's interesting.
Aubrey Plaza said she watched a lot of Fox News to research the role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Aubrey Plaza.
They used a Tucker car when one of the people were arriving to the party.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brought one of those out. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It says it's Aubrey Plaza and Jason Schwartzman's 6th collaboration together.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've done a lot
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. But yeah. I think so. like we said earlier, let us know if you have any thoughts
Yeah.
or want to share your opinions on this. Write in feedback@screentimepod.com.
Reflections in general, Josh, on Coppola.
Yeah, let's move there. I would say, all in all, don't care for him as a director.
Okay.
I mean, he's got some good films, don't get me wrong, but I think all in all, his sensibility, his pacing and storytelling, I don't connect with as much. Like, I feel like a lot of times it's too slow, too long, to my preferred, and a little too pretentious.
Yep.
I think is kind of,
but still, just like the kind of the longer filmographies that we've done, like the Coens, there's still a few hidden gems in there
for sure.
That was cool.
Yep.
To go through stuff we never heard of before that we ended up really liking. But I overall agree. I think I don't remember. Everyone go back and check the tape because I don't really remember how different we were on different films. But I know there were different ones that we weren't completely agreed on. But I think I'm very similar to you, like pretty mixed on a lot of his films overall. And he's, despite loving essentially all of his movies from the 70s a lot, he's not like very high up on my list of favorite directors. So,
yeah.
Speaking of great directors, though,
well, that's just leads us to what our next movie is and next director, because this ends the Coppola.
Unless he ends up doing another film,
and then I
don't think so, though.
If he does, we'll add it. We'll loop it back in.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, did you want to tell everybody who our next director is?
Yes, Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
Only 4 films.
Yeah.
But we'll have
a guest.
I have a few guests,
at least
actually.
A guest on every one of those 4. If not, and then one I won't be here for. And
but we have, so far right now, we have 3 different people confirmed as guests, which is cool. So look forward to that. I've seen all 4 of his movies, but Josh has not seen any of them. So I'm very excited to see how you think about this director.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
So the first film we're going to cover is The Witch.
Yes.
So, we'll get into that next time. So thank you for watching and listening. If you have something you'd like to let us know, email at feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment or DM. You can like and subscribe and follow Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, all the socials. If you'd like to, and all those are at Screen Time Pod. If you'd like to follow each of us, you can follow me at Jay Youngbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. Catch you guys next time.